How did my husband go from quiet and boring to serving me papers in a public lobby like I was a stranger? Why did he stay calm while my friend stared at me, and the words, "temporary orders start today," landed like a door slamming? My name is Sula Bennett. I was 34, and I like to believe I knew what I deserved. I worked as a customer success manager for a software company. My job was to fix problems before people got angry. At home, I told myself my problem was Ethan. Ethan was my husband. He was 36 and calm, in a way that made me feel itchy. He was a systems engineer, and he liked routines. He liked dinner at the same time. He liked the kids' bedtime to be quiet. Ava was 8 and Miles was 5. They liked Ethan's calm. I told myself calm was the same as boring. That Monday morning, I stood in the kitchen and watched Ethan make oatmeal like it was a plan. 2 mugs sat on the counter, but he did not touch mine. He used his own mug and placed it on his side near the sink. I noticed that, and I decided it meant he was cold. I did not consider that I had been cold first. He asked if I wanted coffee. I said no, even though I did. He asked what time I would be home. I said late because work was crazy. He nodded and did not argue. That annoyed me more than if he had argued. I told him I had been thinking. He looked at me and waited. I said I was not happy. I said I felt unwanted. I said he did not satisfy me. I made it sound like a fact, like a medical note. I could see his face change, but he kept his voice steady. He asked what I needed. I said, freedom. He asked what freedom meant. I said honesty. He said he did not understand. I said he never tried to understand. I had practiced it in my head. I had chosen words that sounded clean. I did not say I want attention. I did not say I miss being chased. I said open relationship, like it was a modern solution. He asked if I wanted to see other people. I said yes, and I said it was fair because he was not meeting my needs. He asked if I was already seeing someone. I said no, and I held my face still while I lied. He asked why marriage vows would not matter. I said vows should not be a cage. He stared at the counter for a moment. He did not raise his voice. He did not call me names. He asked if I would agree to counseling first. I said counseling was too slow. He asked if I would stop posting about us online. I said I barely posted, even though I knew I posted. Ava walked in and asked if we could do pancakes on Saturday. Ethan told her yes. I watched him soften for her, and it made me angry. I wanted that softness aimed at me. I also wanted to keep my power. I wanted both. When Ethan drove the kids to school, I stayed home a few extra minutes. I opened my phone and messaged my best friend, Cassidy Lane. Cassidy was 33 and always loud in the way people call fun. I wrote that Ethan was acting like a victim, and I was done with his coldness. Cassidy replied fast. She said I was brave. She said I should never settle. She asked if I wanted to come to the rooftop bar later. I said yes. At work, I wore my confidence like armor. I spoke in meetings and smiled at the right times. I told myself I was a woman with needs, not a villain. I kept repeating that line in my head. I deserve more. It sounded like self-respect when I said it quietly. At lunch, I scrolled through fitness videos and stopped on one from Tyler Knox, a trainer from the gym near my office. He had commented on my story the week before, just a small flame emoji. It had felt like air after being underwater. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself it did not count. When I got home that evening, the house felt different, not louder, not calmer, just divided. Ethan had moved a few things from the bedroom into the guest room. Not many. A pillow, a charger, a folded t-shirt. It was like he was making space without making a speech. I asked what he was doing. He said he needed sleep. I asked if he was punishing me. He said he was protecting himself. I said he was being dramatic. He said he was being honest. He asked if I could agree to one rule. I said maybe. He asked that we keep the children out of adult issues. I said I always did, like I was the model parent. He looked at me, and I could tell he did not believe me. That bothered me, so I pushed. I told him he had created this. I said he made me feel alone for years. I said he ignored my needs. I said I had tried everything. I did not list what I had tried, because it was not much. I had mostly tried guilt. He asked if I wanted a divorce. I said no, because divorce sounded like losing. I said I wanted options. He asked if my options included lying. I said he was accusing me with no proof. That word, proof, stuck in the air, and I pretended not to notice. Later, while he helped Miles with a puzzle in the living room, I walked past the hallway and saw Ethan's laptop open on the dining table. He turned it slightly when he heard me. The screen was a grid of rows and columns, like a spreadsheet. It could have been work. It could have been anything. But my stomach tightened anyway. I asked what he was working on. He said bills. He said it in the same tone he used when he said the weather. I saw a folder on the table with a plain label sticker that read household. Next to it was another one that read utilities. He had never used labels before. I laughed and said he was being intense. He did not laugh back. That night, after the kids were asleep, I went to the rooftop bar with Cassidy. She brought 2 more friends and we took pictures. I told them Ethan was not satisfying me and I was tired of waiting for him to change. I said it like a joke, like a story with a punchline. They reacted the way I wanted. Cassidy said Ethan was lucky to have me. One friend said men like Ethan needed a wake-up call. I nodded, like I was leading a lesson. Cassidy asked if Ethan knew. I said yes, and I said he was acting offended like I had attacked him. She asked if I was scared. I said no, and I said Ethan would never leave because he liked comfort. I said it with a smile, but part of me needed to believe it. When I came home, the kitchen light was on low. Ethan stood by the counter, rinsing a cup. He did not ask where I had been. He did not demand my phone. He just looked tired. I asked why he was quiet. He said he did not want to fight. I said his silence was a weapon. He said my words were a weapon. I told him he was twisting things. He said he was finally seeing things clearly. As he walked toward the guest room, his phone lit up on the table. For 1 second, I saw a calendar reminder. It said, meeting, personal. No location. No name. Just that. Then the screen went dark again. I stood there with my heels in my hand, listening to the house settle. The kids' doors were closed. Ethan's door clicked shut. My mug stayed untouched on the counter, far from his. And I told myself I was still in control, even while my chest felt tight. The next morning at work, Nina Patel asked me to step into the small meeting room. The glass walls made me feel exposed, even though nobody could hear. I sat down fast and crossed my legs like I was calm. Nina said she wanted to check on me. She said someone had forwarded a post that sounded like home trouble. She said the company did not want personal conflict to spill into client calls. I smiled and acted surprised. I told her I had been going through a hard season. I said I was still professional. She asked if I felt safe at home. I said yes. She asked if there was anything that could become a workplace issue. I said no, and I said Ethan was not the type to cause problems. That last part was true, but I said it like I was giving him credit. Inside, I was already building the story. If he ever reacted, I wanted people to think he had changed. Nina asked if I had posted about my marriage. I said only vague things. She asked me to keep it that way. She said HR could support me if I needed resources. But she also said the company had rules about harassment and public accusations. I nodded, like I respected rules. In my head, I kept thinking that rules always seem strict when they are aimed at me. After the meeting, I walked back to my desk and opened my calendar. My day was packed. I liked that. A full calendar made me feel important. I glanced at my phone and saw a message from Cassidy. She asked if Ethan had learned his lesson yet. I typed back that he was acting like a martyr. Cassidy replied that I should take back my power. I stared at that phrase and felt warm. It sounded like a reason. It sounded better than "I want attention." At lunch, I went to the gym. Tyler Knox was at the front desk, leaning with his arms crossed like he owned the air. He looked at me like he already knew my secrets. He asked how I was doing. I said tired. He asked if I was stressed. I said my husband did not understand me. He said that sounded lonely. I let myself smile. He asked if I wanted a new program to feel strong again. I said yes, and I said I needed a reset. He asked if Ethan supported my goals. I said Ethan supported the kids, not me. It came out sharp. Tyler said I deserved support. I nodded like I was hearing a truth. When I got home later, Ethan was in the kitchen packing lunches. Ava's lunchbox was open, and he was cutting fruit into neat pieces. He did not look up right away. I hated that I wanted him to look up. I asked if he was still mad. He said he was not mad. I asked what he was then. He said he was sad. The word sad sounded weak to me, and I used that. I said he was always sad and it was draining. He asked why I had to insult him. I said I was just being honest. He asked if my honesty had any kindness in it. I said kindness did not fix a dead marriage. Ava came in and asked if we could watch a movie that night. Ethan said yes, if homework was done. I said sure, and I forced a bright voice. I watched Ethan with the kids and felt two opposite things at once. Part of me respected him. Another part of me wanted to crush that respect because it made me feel guilty. After the movie, when the kids went to bed, Ethan stood near the stairwell. He asked if we could talk privately. I followed him, but I kept my arms folded like a shield. He asked if I had told people personal things. I said I needed support. He said support did not mean public shame. I said he was trying to silence me. He said he was trying to protect the kids from gossip. I rolled my eyes and said nobody cared that much. He asked if I understood what an open relationship meant to him. I said it meant he should stop acting like a victim. He said it meant the end of trust. I said trust was already gone because he failed me. He asked what he had done that was so unforgivable. I said he stopped making me feel wanted. He stood still for a long moment. I waited for anger, but it did not come. Instead, he asked if we could set basic boundaries. He said we should not bring strangers into the home. He said we should not confuse the kids. He said if I wanted to change the marriage, it had to be done with respect. I heard the word respect and felt challenged. Respect was something I thought I deserved without earning it. I told him he was acting like a lawyer. He said he was acting like a father. Later that night, I went to the bathroom and opened my phone. I posted a story with a dark screen and white text. I wrote that it was hard, living with someone who made me feel small. I did not name Ethan, but I wanted people to know it was him. I wanted messages. I wanted proof that I was right. The messages came fast. Cassidy sent angry emojis and said I should not let a man dim me. A coworker from another team sent a heart and said she was there if I needed to talk. I felt a rush of power. I told myself it was community. It was not. It was a crowd. The next day, Ethan stopped replying to my extra texts. He still replied about the kids. He asked what time I would be home for Ava's school project. I said I would be there. He said okay, no questions, no fight. It felt like he was stepping away from the part of me that liked to be chased. I tried to force a moment. I asked if he still loved me. He said he loved the family, but he could not keep begging to be treated well. I said he was making himself a victim again. He said he was making choices. That evening, I saw 2 mugs again on the counter, but this time they were far apart like bookends. I saw his side was clean and empty. My side had clutter. I hated that detail, because it made me look messy without anyone saying it. When I walked past the dining table, I noticed a sticky note near his laptop. It said, "Bring forms." No name, no logo, just that. I told myself it could be about work. I told myself I was imagining things. Still, my stomach tightened. In the hallway, I heard a soft hum from the laundry room. The shredder was running. Ethan never shredded anything at night. I stood still and listened until it stopped. I went upstairs and looked into the guest room. The bed looked slightly disturbed, like someone had slept there and left early. On the dresser, I saw a single key I did not recognize. I did not touch it. I did not ask about it. I told myself I did not care. But when I got into our bedroom alone, I stared at my phone again and opened Tyler's profile. I told myself I was only looking. I told myself it was not cheating if Ethan pushed me. And that was the story I decided to live inside. I started treating the gym like my second home. It was easy to say I was working on my health, and nobody argued with that. People clap for change, even when they do not know what kind of change it is. At lunch, I went again. Tyler Knox was near the smoothie counter, talking to a couple of members like he was the center of the room. When he saw me, he smiled like we shared a secret. I told myself I liked that feeling because Ethan never looked at me like that anymore. I did not admit that I had trained Ethan to stop looking. Tyler asked how my week was going. I said heavy. He asked if my husband was still being difficult. I said yes, and I made my voice small. Tyler said I deserved to feel wanted. I nodded like it was wisdom. He asked if I wanted to join a weekend group workout. I said maybe, because weekends were family time. He asked if family time was real if I felt lonely. I did not answer. I let that line sit inside me. On the way back to the office, I typed messages fast. I wrote to Cassidy that Tyler got it and Ethan did not. Cassidy replied that I should stop explaining myself to Ethan and start living. She said if Ethan could not satisfy me, then I should find someone who could. I stared at the message and felt my face heat up, like I had permission. That afternoon, Nina walked past my desk and tapped the edge of my monitor. She asked if I had a minute later. I said yes, and I kept my smile. The moment she left, I felt angry. I told myself she was judging me. I also told myself she was jealous of my confidence. I liked that story more than the truth. In the meeting room, Nina said the company had received a complaint. She said a client heard rumors that I was unstable at home, and it made them nervous. She asked if I had been discussing personal issues during work hours. I said no. She asked if I had posted anything that could connect to the company. I said I never did. She asked if I could be careful anyway. I said I was always careful. I left that room with my chest tight. I did not feel supported. I felt watched. I decided Ethan caused this, even though I had posted those stories. I decided I was the victim of a system that hates women who speak. That made me feel strong for a moment. That evening, Ethan picked up the kids from after-school care because I said I was stuck in traffic. I was not in traffic. I was in the pharmacy queue, buying a small bottle of vitamins I did not need. I needed an excuse for why I was not home. I made the excuse look responsible. When I came in, Ava was at the table with paper and markers. Miles was building a tower on the rug. Ethan was washing dishes. He looked normal, like a person in a commercial. That normal made me feel worse. He asked if I could help Ava with her project. I said I would in a minute. He asked where I had been. I said the pharmacy. He nodded and did not push. I wanted him to push. I wanted a fight so I could feel less guilty. Later, after the kids were asleep, Ethan asked if we could talk. I followed him to the living room. He did not sit close to me. He sat in the armchair, with his hands folded like he was holding himself still. He asked if I was seeing someone. I laughed too fast and asked if he was serious. He said he was serious. I said he was imagining things because he was insecure. He said he had not called me names, and he would not start now. He asked again if I was seeing someone. I said no. I said I was just trying to feel alive. I said he should be happy I was honest about wanting openness. He asked if my openness meant I would stop lying about where I went. I said I never lied. He said he did not want a long argument. He said he wanted clear truth. I said truth was hard when he made the home feel cold. He looked down for a second, like he was putting something away inside himself. The next day, I started pushing the story louder. In the open plan office, I told a coworker that Ethan policed my life. I said it like a joke, and people laughed politely. I watched their faces for reaction. I wanted them to take my side without details. If they took my side, I could take my own side too. That night, Cassidy hosted a small get-together at her place. The living room was full of people with drinks and phones. I told the same story again, but sharper. I said Ethan acted like a saint, but he was selfish. I said he made me feel unattractive. I said he would rather be right than be close. A mutual friend, John Park, asked if Ethan knew I was saying this. I said Ethan knew everything and did nothing. John asked if I had tried counseling. I said Ethan refused, even though he had asked for it first. I flipped the detail like it was easy. I saw Cassidy smile at me, proud, like I had performed well. When I got home, Ethan was not waiting in the living room. The house was quiet, but not peaceful. It was like the quiet had rules. In the kitchen, I saw a printer tray with a single blank page sticking out. It looked silly, like a mistake, but the smell of toner was in the air, faint and sharp. Ethan never printed at night before. On the counter, a folder was open just a little, showing clean tabs inside. I did not touch it. I told myself I respected privacy. I also told myself he was hiding things. Ethan walked in from the hallway with his phone in his hand. The screen lit up for a second with a missed call. It said no caller ID. He did not explain it. He did not need to. He placed the phone face down and asked if the kids were okay at Cassidy's house. I said the kids had not been there. I said I had gone alone. He nodded, like he already knew. I asked why he was acting strange. He said he was trying to keep the home stable. I said he was punishing me with silence. He said he was not punishing me. He was protecting the children from chaos. I said I was not chaos. He said he was not going to debate my feelings anymore. Then he did something small that hit me hard. He opened a drawer near the fridge and took out a new keyring. He added a key to it calmly, like he was organizing a toolbox. I asked what it was for. He said it was for personal storage. I asked if he was leaving me. He said he was not making threats. He said he was making plans. As he walked away, his phone made a soft beep, like a recording had started and stopped. I stared at the guest room door, and I told myself I was still the one with choices. But my hands felt cold, and my throat felt tight, and I hated that I did not know what he had already written down. The school pickup line felt like a small stage. Cars crawled forward, and parents leaned out of windows like they were sharing news without saying it out loud. I sat with my phone on my lap and checked it every few seconds, like waiting was a kind of work. Ethan's car pulled in behind me. He did not honk, he did not wave. He just parked and waited, calm as always. That calm made me feel like I was losing something, even before I knew what it was. Ava climbed into my back seat first. She looked tired. She asked if Dad was coming home for dinner. I said yes, but I did not look at Ethan's car when I said it. I wanted Ava to hear certainty, even if it was fake. Miles came next, holding a paper crown from school. He asked if we could have pizza. I said maybe. Ethan's car moved out of line, and he turned toward home without following me. It felt like a message. I told myself it was childish of him. At home, I started texting Cassidy while the kids ate snacks. Cassidy asked if I wanted to come to a family dinner that weekend, with real adults who understand boundaries. I said I already had a family dinner planned. Then I paused. I had planned it, yes, but not for peace. I had planned it to win. My parents, Diana and Glenn, were coming. Ethan's parents, Ruth and Mark, were coming too. I told myself it was fair to put everyone in one room. I told myself it was mature. The real reason was simpler. I wanted witnesses. The restaurant had a long table and bright lights. The kind of place where people talk loudly because they think it hides the tension. When Ethan arrived with the kids, he held Miles's hand and carried Ava's backpack. He greeted everyone politely. He did not act like a villain. That annoyed me. Diana hugged me first and asked if I was okay. I said I was doing my best. Ruth hugged the kids and asked about school. Mark shook Ethan's hand and gave him a steady look. Glenn sat down and said he hoped we could have a calm evening. I did not want calm. Calm did not prove my point. When the waiter brought water, I started talking. I said Ethan had been distant for years. I said he made me feel unwanted. I said I had tried to communicate, and he ignored me. I used that soft victim voice I knew how to make. Ruth asked what distant meant. I said Ethan cared more about his screens than his wife. Mark asked if we had tried counseling. I said Ethan refused. Ethan looked at me and did not correct me. That made me feel bold. Diana said a woman should not have to beg for affection. I nodded hard. Glenn asked if we could keep it respectful. I said respect is earned. I said I had been patient long enough. Ethan asked if we could talk about this later, not in front of the kids. I said the kids already feel the tension, so hiding it is pointless. Ava looked down at her plate. Miles pushed fries into a line like he was counting them. Ruth asked me to lower my voice. I said I was not yelling, I was speaking truth. Mark asked Ethan how he felt. Ethan said he felt sad and confused. I laughed once, sharp, and said he always says sad like it is a shield. Ethan asked me not to mock him. I said I was not mocking, I was describing. He said he wanted to keep the home stable for the children. I said he wanted to keep me trapped in a boring life. Diana said Ethan sounded controlling. Ruth said boundaries are not control. I watched the words bounce around the table and felt pleased that I had caused it. Then Ava asked a small question in a small voice. She asked if we were still going to do pancakes on Saturday. Ethan said yes, of course. I said yes too, but my voice sounded fake to my own ears. After dinner, in the parking lot, Cara arrived. My sister always came late and still acted like she was on time. She looked at me, then at Ethan, then at the kids. She asked what was going on. I told her Ethan was punishing me and trying to make me look bad. Cara asked what I had done. I said I had asked for honesty. Cara said honesty does not mean public humiliation. I told her she was taking his side. She said she was taking the kids' side. In the car on the way home, Ava asked why Aunt Cara was mad. I said Cara was stressed. Ava asked if Dad was mad at me. I said Dad was being dramatic. As soon as I said it, I hated how easy it was to teach my child that word. At home, Ethan helped the kids wash up. He read Miles a short story in the living room. He did it like he was building a wall out of routine. I stood in the hallway and watched, feeling outside my own house. After bedtime, I followed Ethan into the kitchen and asked why he let everyone think I was the problem. He asked how he could stop people from thinking that when I kept speaking for him. I said he never defended me. He said I was asking him to defend behavior he could not respect. I asked if he was making notes about me. He asked why I would think that. I said, because he had become so organized. He did not answer right away. He opened a drawer and took out a small stack of labeled folders: bank, utilities, school, and household. He slid them back in and closed the drawer gently, like he was closing a book. I asked what he was doing. He said he was keeping life in order. I asked if he planned to leave. He said he planned to do what was proper if things kept getting worse. I asked what proper meant. He said it meant calm and lawful. That night, I went to the spare tablet we sometimes use for the kids' apps. I told myself I was checking homework links. The truth was, I wanted to see what Ethan was doing. A banner popped up at the top of the screen. File uploaded successfully. I froze. I tapped away quickly, like touching it would make it real. I saw a thread name in a list, follow-up. No details, just that. Then a missed call notification appeared. It showed no number, only no caller ID. My stomach turned hot. I told myself it could be work. I told myself it was nothing. Still, I felt the room tilt. I went back to bed and lay there staring at the ceiling. I told myself Ethan was trying to scare me. I told myself he wanted to control me with mystery. I told myself, again and again, that I had done nothing wrong except ask for what I deserved. But even as I repeated it, I could not forget Ava's face at the restaurant, or how Ethan's hands had stayed steady while mine kept searching for a fight. I started waking up with a plan instead of a feeling. Feelings were messy. Plans made me look reasonable. On Wednesday, I stopped at the supermarket after work. I did not need much, but I walked every aisle like I was proving something. I bought snacks the kids liked, and a box of cereal Ethan always chose. I told myself I was being thoughtful. I also told myself the receipts would show I was still a good wife, even if Ethan tried to paint me as the problem. At the checkout, I saw a woman from Ava's class standing behind me. She smiled too politely. She asked how Ethan was doing. I said he was fine, but stressed. She said she hoped things were okay. I said things were okay, and I made my eyes look tired on purpose. I wanted her to carry that look back to other parents. When I got home, Ethan was already there. He had cooked pasta and cut vegetables for the kids without asking me. I could smell garlic. The table was set. It should have felt like comfort. It felt like control. He asked if I could help Ava study. I said after dinner. He asked if I could stay off my phone during dinner. I said I was always present. He did not argue. He simply nodded and served Miles his plate first. I watched him and felt annoyed by how careful he was. Careful men do not make good villains. I needed him to raise his voice. I needed him to break. After dinner, I went upstairs and opened our closet. Half of Ethan's side was empty now, not completely. Just enough to make a point. I stood there and told myself he was trying to scare me. Then I told myself I did not care. I sent a message to Tyler. I asked if he was free this weekend. He replied fast and said, maybe. He added a smiling face and a joke about how I always looked too serious. I liked that he said always, like he knew me. I ignored the fact that he did not ask about my kids, or my day, or anything that mattered. Cassidy called me that night. She asked if I had used my freedom yet. I said Ethan was being cold and acting like a saint. She said that meant he was guilty. I liked that logic, even though it made no sense. She asked if I wanted to come to a co-working place with her the next day, just to get out. I said yes. I told myself it was networking. It was not. It was hiding. At the co-working space, I sat with my laptop open and did almost nothing. Cassidy talked loud about men who deserve consequences. She asked if Ethan was trying to control money. I said I did not know. Cassidy said I should protect myself and get ahead. She used that phrase like it was wisdom. When I got home, Ethan was in the hallway near the laundry room. I heard the shredder hum again, soft and steady. He turned it off before I reached the door, like he did not want me to see what was inside. I told myself that proved he was hiding something. I did not consider that maybe he was simply cleaning up. I asked what he was shredding. He said old paperwork. I asked what kind. He said household stuff. I asked why he was doing it now. He said he had time. His voice stayed flat, like a closed window. I followed him into the kitchen and asked if he was punishing me. He asked how he was punishing me. I said his silence was punishment. He said he was still talking about the kids, the house and schedules. He said he was not refusing to communicate. He was refusing to argue. I told him he was stonewalling. I had learned that word online. It sounded official. It sounded like I could win with it. He asked if I wanted counseling. I said counseling only worked if both people tried. He said he was willing. I said I did not believe him. He asked why. I said because he had changed into someone cold. He said he had become careful because I kept pushing him into chaos. The next week, I booked a counselor. I chose someone close to my office so I could claim it was a sacrifice. In the waiting room, I watched Ethan sit across from me. He did not look angry. He looked tired. His hands rested on his knees, still. The counselor asked why we were there. I said I wanted honesty and connection. Ethan said he wanted safety and respect. The counselor asked what open relationship meant for us. I said it meant I could breathe. Ethan said it meant trust would die. The counselor asked if we had agreed on boundaries. I said Ethan refused to compromise. Ethan said he had asked for boundaries, and I mocked him. I looked at Ethan like he was lying, even though I knew he was not. The counselor asked if there was a third person involved. Ethan did not accuse me directly. He simply said the schedule changes and the secrecy had been hard. I jumped in fast and said Ethan was paranoid. I said he was insecure and imagining things. I said his jealousy was the real problem. After the session, Ethan walked toward the parking garage without touching me. I followed him and asked why he had embarrassed me in therapy. He asked how he embarrassed me by answering a question. I said he was building a case. The words slipped out before I could stop them. He paused near his car. For a second, I saw him glance at his phone. A reminder popped up. Paper drop. No name. No details. Just that. He tapped it away quickly. I asked what paper drop meant. He looked at me for a long moment. Not angry, not begging, just steady. I said he was trying to scare me. I said he wanted to take my kids. I said he wanted to ruin me because I asked for honesty. I use big words because big words make fear look like principle. He opened his car door and placed his bag inside. Then he closed the door gently, like he did not want to wake the world. I asked if he still loved me. He said he loved the children and he would always be their father. I asked what that meant for me. He said I could stop hurting him, or I could keep going and see what happens. I told him he was threatening me. He said he was not threatening me. He said he was choosing a lawful path if I kept disrespecting the marriage and the home. I laughed and said he was too soft to do anything real. He looked at me like he finally accepted something about me that he had been denying. Then he said, in the calmest voice I had ever heard from him, that he would handle it properly. My phone shook as I walked into the office tower lobby. I had texted Cassidy that Ethan was pulling a stunt because I wanted a crowd. Ethan stood near the security desk with Ruth beside him. He did not look angry. A woman in a plain blazer asked for my name. I gave it. She said she was confirming service. I asked what service. Ethan said he wanted this public so it stayed calm. I said he was humiliating me. He said I had humiliated him for months. The woman handed me an envelope and asked me to sign a screen. I refused. She said refusal did not stop anything. My hands went cold when I read the top lines. Divorce petition, temporary orders, effective immediately. I told Ethan it was revenge. He said it was protection. I said he wanted to take my kids. He said the schedule was stable and fair. It listed school nights, weekends, and exact pickup times. It said our messages had to go through a parenting app. It said neither of us could drain accounts or move money without notice. It said he had temporary exclusive use of the main bedroom, starting today. Cassidy arrived and asked what happened. I said Ethan was attacking me. She looked at the papers and stopped smiling. Ruth asked me to read. I reached for Ethan's arm. He stepped back and kept his voice low. He said he would only talk about the children now. I wanted to shout that he was the bad guy. But the lobby watched, and the paper watched. The clerk repeated that the temporary schedule began today, and my mouth opened, but no sound came out. I stared at the date and understood that while I chased attention, he had chosen the law.